Cool, here's Emily's. Let's look at Emily's.
Mine's not that great.
Cool, we got stuff on the shelves.
Looks nice.
Cool, nice. Is that 12 shots?
Yes.
Awesome. Great, that's a great start. And how did this go render-wise?
It took like 2 hours.
For all the shots?
Yeah.
Sweet. That's great. Oh, you got two. There was there's two mixers. There's one there the whole time, one up here, one down there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My lawyer lady's a classy lady.
What's that?
Right. This is a lawyer's home.
How is there something that
Her hobby is baking, that's why she has 2 mixers.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, so.
and her salary is such that she can afford 2 KitchenAid mixers?
Exactly.
Clearly a huge window, so nice house.
It's because when I started making it and I colored it or painting it, Vanessa said like it looked like a lawyer's lady's house, and I'm like,
So then we had to find the human model who looked closest to what would look like a female lawyer.
her name's Millie.
Her name's Millie.
Is that like in the Cinema 4D assets? Like there's someone named
Yeah.
Millie?
Yeah, it's canon.
Exactly. To say that.
It's one of them.
I don't know the name of the asset.
I don't remember the name of the asset either.
I search for MIL and I just get milk.
Or something, isn't she?
Yeah, she's holding like a clipboard.
Yeah, clipboard. I mean, could we include the human model in there? Probably not.
I would love to include.
For, like, scale?
I mean, from an artistic standpoint, sure. I mean, then I would just be sure to, say in the description, like I made everything except for the model that was coming from so and so.
Could you go once we get to the sing scene?
Female woman number 4.
Oh, okay. You named her Millie?
Yes. It took a couple hours. Nice traveling. Her full name is Melissa. They call her Millie for short.
Yes. That was my reaction.
This is how I got myself excited for this. I was like, this has to be good enough for her. Exactly.
Cool. This looks good. The things that stick out modeling wise. You did a really good job with the pacing of the shots. And none of them really stuck out as like way too fast or way too slow. Like the general speed of things was good. Lighting wise, yeah, I feel like over here, this ends up pretty dark. And so, so what is the lighting setup right now?
There's 2 lights. There's
And you have the dome light and the portal over here.
Mm-hmm.
So this. Yeah, I think this is a cool idea with this big window here. I would just make some sort of.
There is. It's just really small.
It's very small?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a big building like this, like especially down here, this thing, I think the thing that makes it look a little strange is like there would be like a.
Like with the fuzziness, you can't see it, but if I squint, I can see the really light matte line that's really
Yeah.
in between the wall and there.
It's in there.
It's in there. It's
Yeah, I would just make it wider
Okay.
so that that's clear. I mean, yeah. So that the other modeling. So this is black?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
maybe a different off black.
Should I just make the sides wood and then just the what's it called? The black color, right?
I mean, the wood table looks good. This particular wood here, with this much of a pattern in it, this just looks kind of like plyboard or something, which no lawyer would have their cabinets made out of. So I think it just needs to be a different wood texture. Did you have a specific reference for wood cabinets that you were using?
No, I was just kind of like moving it so that it would look good, or just thinking of like the way the cabinets looked at like at the old house. Or I recently moved, so I was just thinking of the cabinets at the old house, because at the house I'm at right now, their cabinets is all black.
Mm-hmm.
So
Kind of just blended the two.
yeah.
Can you put it as like a really dark or pencil?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this looks super light. There's a lot of black in these modern kitchens. But it's so like the risk of getting flour everywhere.
Flour everywhere? Oh, if you have a black kitchen? Yeah. Yeah, and you just open a bag of flour.
Think about it. That's on purpose. Fingerprints everywhere in case anything happens. Well, Millie has 2 blenders. She needs to save.
Exactly. That's
How
what
do you
I'm
think?
saying.
Millie's a special case.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, as we're looking at this here,
What an interesting light.
this is
Yeah,
this is terrible.
That's a Gen Zer right there.
no, I sold that to people.
I think the modern aesthetic is
It's a weird place to put it, but
Yeah, I'm trying to think what exactly looks a little awkward. The
black needs to be a dark gray.
yeah, I think the wood here on, because is it the same wood texture here and here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like this.
I might have made the one on the table a little lighter, but that's about it. It's from the same one, or it should be from the same one that I remember. But like, remember how they did change a little, because the pattern's smaller on the cabinet.
Yeah, I feel like you would be able to see more of the detail of what you did, especially on the island, if, you know, this, or maybe you could keep the same bump and channels, but just change it to like a just solid color in the color channel. Yeah, so it looks like painted wood.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Especially because you got this big black refrigerator. Like I think doing that here and here and here would be an improvement. I would say, yeah, the thing is, the other thing that sticks out, just because this is so high contrast, is not having a fixture up here for the light to come down from. You could just add cylinders. You know what I mean?
At the base?
Yeah, like where it attaches to the ceiling. If you can afford 2 mixers, you never get this. You would definitely not buy the same color. So yeah, maybe something different for the other one. Yeah, the floor pattern looks good. And then, is this a hole, or did you put a piece of something here?
No, there's glass.
There's glass? Okay.
That's why it's so reflective. To the
Yeah, you can
outside.
see some of this there, I believe. Yeah.
See some glare from
That's just
The
protecting
other things is,
the window on the other side.
yeah, so you do have more than one orbiting shot. You got this nice orbit of the blender. These light bulbs struck me as just too big. Like I would just make them a little bit smaller. Like, and the pattern on,
There are light bulbs that big, but they usually are like clear and you can see the filament.
yeah, it's like the clear filament thing.
They're like rustic.
Here, chilling out the bump on these. So you don't need to go back to substance for that. You can just, in the redshift material, decrease the strength of the bump pattern on these. Because this is, you textured this in substance, right? Okay. The floor pattern strikes me as just a little too large. Like maybe 3/4 of this size, just scaling the floor pattern over there. Did anything else stick out?
It's something like 2 inches wide or something
I
like
like a closer shot of all the top as well.
Closer shot of what?
Of all the silverware.
Yeah, you did a really good job here.
beginning.
I mean, the gold silverware is pretty wacky. I mean, is she also secretly like a queen from
Hell yeah.
Luxembourg, who's living in anonymity in Argentina?
It's like the plastic
Gaslight
silverware that's like,
gatekeeper.
it's like gold, you
Yes.
know?
This is the gaslight gatekeeper Lawson, right?
So yeah, the way you did the sort of push by the lights, maybe just do that for one of the place settings so we can really see the detail in the silverware. I mean, I would at least make is the plate the same material? It's different? Okay, then I would make it more, it looks still kind of metallic. I'd make it more ceramic-ish on that.
Gold ceramic.
I don't know. Can you do that? Gold plate ceramic? It sounds expensive. Very expensive. just put something on the wall here for this shot. I mean, if you had to make a picture in a frame, everybody feel comfortable doing that kind of thing at this point?
Didn't we do that with the TV?
Yeah, the TV is essentially a picture frame, right? So, same kind of thing. Yeah, because this is the only one where we really see that wall. But if you want to keep the shot, just something there so that's not quite so.
Draw some really like abstract art and Photoshop girl cartoon.
It's just gonna be a giant ass cupcake.
There you go. Huge cupcake portrait. With a face.
Yeah, the glass pattern here turned out nice.
Yes.
It's all about baking. Just be able to wash your hands immediately.
Exactly.
Wait, what was it?
I forgot the word chalice for a second.
Oh right, your chalices. That's why they're gold.
I didn't want to do glass.
Man, when I was animating my day, I realized there's a lot of things I need to fix on textures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you don't need to show mine.
Yeah, the only other thing that looks, I mean, if we look at the,
Every shot that you have those kind of dark green part, it's probably faster and further.
Yeah.
So instead of change the composition to be with that compositing tag, people make a visibility tag instead that in the
Yeah.
wall. And just have a light inside there so that way when it comes to that scene, the light is on to light up those cabinets. And then once the fridge turns back on, it'll hide the light again. And you can always just turn off and on the light too at that same time, so that way it doesn't mess with your time.
yeah, some sort of backsplash that would be the same. It doesn't need to be a new, different color, but you know, it wouldn't even need to go into.
A backsplash. Remember what we were doing with the tile? Yeah, you were trying to put it just behind the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it just went like here, you know, just you could literally just have it be 2 cubes, right?
That
It's
was the original plan, but
It was
it
already-
crashed and burned.
Yeah.
what went wrong with it?
So much.
I think it was just.
It didn't look right. It was so big.
Yeah, use that pattern that we made in
It is still in there.
Wait,
Oh.
try using the illustrator pattern. See if you like it better.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wouldn't use something that, you know, something that's pretty much white, but just some sort of textured pattern on there.
Mhm.
I think that would work.
You can make it like marble
Cool. And so this was 640 by 360.
Yes.
Okay, and it took about 2 hours
Correct.
for all the frames.
Yes.
Each frame was like 2 seconds, 3 seconds.
3 to 5 seconds.
There you go.
Good. Nice. Yeah, I think just making a few different texture decisions, like we talked about.
Mhm.
The shots, I think, are good. None of them stuck out as sort of being.
Is that last shot too fast? Because I was looking at it and it just seemed a little faster.
There's
Yeah, I mean,
If it, like, if it got to that, like, just move the camera back.
Oh, okay, so it's
I wouldn't have any camera rotation in that last shot. Yeah, I think you're covering too much ground, and then the idea of rotating and moving over that much space, if you're doing that for real, it would require like way more equipment than the other shots, right? And so you just wouldn't see that really.
Yeah, it's just an orbit.
I mean, you could just sort of be here, just sort of pushing.
Oh, where is it?
The orbits work for the smaller things because you could do that much more easily.
It's because like I didn't want to do another pan or like another one from like a top down.
No, this one's really cool. I mean, this might be my favorite shot. This like top down.
Oh, I mean like top down like as in like an elevator.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the facing down. I call it a helicopter. I give them names. I don't know why.
It's good.
But it
As
doesn't
long
make
as
sense to
it-
anybody else.
As long as it helps you remember it.
But like when I try
Currently, you're
explaining it to
projecting a
others,
one.
when I try explaining it to others, it's a struggle. But yeah, I was just trying to create more variety in the types of shots I had. So I thought the orbit would have been like a good variety for the last one.
Yeah, you got plenty of variety. Like this, the last one is it's just too fast. I think you're right. So
So what would you recommend I do?
I like that just being because you got a good contrast here. This one going this way, and then maybe starting right about here and just moving in, just straight in from this angle. Maybe move it up a little bit.
So like up and in?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. Thank you, thank you.
All right.
Cool. Very nice.
All the ink coming out and like
Jose says, is the vent too low? Maybe a little. I mean, here, this amount of space versus what's in. I mean, because there's nothing that sort of stretches up into this zone, sort of moving this up so that this part, is sort of just below the ceiling, I think. It also would give you more space here. Maybe just a little bit. Here's Jose's. Okay, so you got more shots on the way, Jose?
Well,
Okay, so a few things here that stick out. This opening shot looks pretty good. Right, their fridge looks okay. The window needs something here. Just to put so it's just a hole in the wall there. These lights look nice. This sticks out as kind of strange, like why. There are some stoves, if we're looking at the reference, like where they don't have that back part. And so on yours, like why would the manufacturer make this thing and then not have anything on it there, right? So maybe this part just gets flattened off, or put something here so that there's something there. The mixer, I feel like this part really needs to be chrome. As far as that just strikes me as kind of strange, having this super red metal. Looks kind of awkward. If you made this chrome and this chrome, you know, just regular metal color, just use this material right here. I think that would do the job. The bowl looks good. This strikes me as a little too wide, right? I might just go from here to here. You could just grab that one tiny part and scale it. That's a good orbit around the mixer. This camera shot is not great. So the idea that it goes out and then back, especially the fact it kind of pauses in the middle. So just think simpler, right? You're showing off the geometry, right? It's not necessarily like a director of photography, cinematography showcase, right? The idea is to showcase the space. And so just something that moves straight along the table would be fine. It looks like with the wood pattern on the table, you need to choose triplanar for the wood pattern. Right now, it looks like, I mean, it's totally stretched here because maybe there's something that's not quite right with the UVs. But if you just change it to triplanar and bring that in, that would solve that problem. You put these little handles on your silverware, that looks good. It just strikes me as a little awkward. I feel like this kind of silverware that has these handles, it goes up a little bit further. That proportion struck me as weird the first time I looked at it. Yeah, and remember another rule, the camera should not, I mean, orbiting is sort of moving in a circular pattern. The camera should not change directions during the shot, right? So like this thing where it goes out and then back, that's not great. Just sort of move along the surface of the table, you know, showing off what you have there. I think the table itself looks good, just the texturing part that we talked about. That's a C4D material on the table. gosh, phone. Be quiet. Yeah, bring the table into Painter so that you can change it to triplanar and get a little more control over that. And then, you've got the cups and the glasses and stuff, even though you don't have shelves in yours. Staging, some cups and glasses, the things that you already have, a few other places just to sort of, make it populated a little bit more would be good. But this first shot is good. It may just be a hair too fast. The second shot, I think you just need to make at least this part of it also chrome. Did you put a label on the side? I can't really tell. If this were dark, it would almost certainly have like a chrome, label here of whatever the name of the mixer is. And so putting that there. Yeah, I don't think you need to add more objects. You could just sort of dress the scene with some of the objects you've already got, these plates and whatnot. Yeah, there is no dishwasher, huh? But you have a microwave. Not everyone made a microwave. I guess you're showing that off in one of your shots. I would definitely do that. Yeah, so put a label on the mixer, especially if it were that dark. It would certainly have some sort of label there on the back. Yeah, so that don't have the camera change directions. Address some of the issues there with the mixer. First shot's a little too fast. Do something around the window to make it look like not just someone took a buzzsaw to the wall. There should be some sort of window there. And yeah, that's looking pretty good. How long is this taking to render, Jose? Okay, let me download this, Kyler, and then delete it off of Slack, because this is going to chew up a huge bunch of our... We have limited space on there. But let me make sure I pull the whole thing down first. Yeah, they should all be linear in that the camera moves in a straight line. The camera should not go out and back. The only exception is like an orbit, where if you make another thing, right? The easiest way to make sure you have a smooth orbit, because yours like sort of went out and back, is to, if you set up the camera here, and then you made a null, and you made the camera a child of the null, you could orbit just by rotating the null. Right? That would give you an orbit. Okay, so a half hour for those 3 shots. That's not terrible. And that's 640 by 360. And good. Okay, so that's going okay on yours. And yeah, so the orbit camera formula. Make your camera a child of the null. The null needs to be whatever you want to orbit around. And then just animating the rotation value on the null will give you that perfectly circular orbital pattern. Here's Kyler's. Cool. Okay. How many shots was that?
Not enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think it felt like 8-ish. I don't know.
Something like that, I think, yeah.
And how's that going on render time?
That was like 4 hours, probably.
At the small resolution?
Yeah.
So, there you go. You had the camera change direction in a bunch of these shots, and we don't want to do that. But so, but you could fix this in editing in that this could be one shot, and then if you edited it away to something else, this could be another shot. See what I'm saying there? We just don't want to have the camera change direction like that. But if you cut to something else before this one, that would be fine. That way you wouldn't have the camera changing direction. And if you're going to have it move this much, just do something over here so that we can see that. The floor tile looks good. I think the textures look good. This shot needs more light. Maybe there's another. You might need to just crank the dome and the amount of light that's coming through the portal here to get more light. And then there might need to be a light closer down to the floor, maybe just for this shot as we're looking at this. So too many of your shots you're moving and rotating. Just moving is fine. Like this, the one with this, I really like this. This is very dynamic, cool. We get a lot of the detail of what's going on here, but you need to cut there, right? It would be almost impossible to do this with a real camera, where you would have this shot and then spin around. Like I have no idea how you would even do it. And so the ones where you change direction. Oh, like this one. This is one shot. Edit away. This could be another. Okay. So just don't have the camera. All the keyframes for the camera directions should be this. They should never go up and back down or down and back up or whatever. We need a shot of the mixer. I would say make this stuff chrome, metal-ish. As soon as I saw the mixer, is this the same gold as this up here? Yeah, it just strikes me as very like McDonald's, like you just I don't think you could buy a mixer of that color, right? Whereas if the yellow parts were chrome, I think it would just look just fine. Like it would seem like a regular mixer. The cabinets look great. I think the handles look better. The fridge looks good. What you got to here with the metal looks really nice. The shiny things are shiny. The black part on the top looks better. The microwave, nice attention to detail on the microwave. You got this indent right here for the door, so that looks totally legit. Yeah, and just edit it away before, like some of the shots have the camera sort of like coming to rest at the end of it, and just edit it out of it before.
I realized after I finished rendering, I didn't have them all linear. I just fixed that now.
Yeah. Like this, probably this could be like a separate shot of just like one orbit around one of the knobs, but like just not having them be together like that. We just need more of the table and you don't really see the table at all. And so a wide shot where we can see the whole space at the beginning. So we're like where we know where the table is in relationship to. We can sort of just barely see it in that one there. I feel like this bump on the.
Yeah, I lowered it already.
Okay, yeah, that looks
I noticed that.
aggressive.
It's rough.
Yeah.
You can use it to scratch your back when you can't reach. I was gonna say, it makes it easier.
Ow! I cut myself on the wall.
It's like the inside like a pool.
Yeah.
Really rough.
Yeah, it's pools that just chew up the bottom of your feet.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Can't feel it.
And then just, you know, that's better. Even better would be just some sort of,
Yeah, I want to put like glass there.
yeah, pain right there. Yeah, good use of these super close-ups. Especially, you know, in the parts where you actually did, you know, more detail, really showing off that high level of detail there. What's that?
I know the little tick in the knob where it indents. It just looks really good.
Do you have writing on this side of the knob?
It's like they can't see that part, but I can see that.
I feel like I vaguely can see the high.
Yeah.
Wait, oh, I only saw the low.
Oh, you saw low?
Yeah, 'cause like it would
Oh, for the
like
orbit?
yeah, it rotated around. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
This feels really if I think about the stove, well, I guess like the microwave has like a vent underneath it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have some stuff.
Yeah, and something here, since we're gonna see that wall, just to keep it
I'm
balanced.
so surprised when I saw it. The neighbors were doing it in this room. What is this?
See, I've never had a range, so
Why?
like that's the only way I've ever done a stove. So every time I see someone with a range, I'm like, what's that?
I've never had a range before, and I've never had one that was weird. Like, if it started smoking on the stove, you just open the window over the sink. You just open the front door and you pray.
What's it called? I don't know if we are in a house. Maybe. If I was probably pretty little when we had it.
Cool. This is a good start. You feel like you're getting the hang of it now?
Yeah, I did the rest of the shots earlier just now.
Okay, just not rendered yet?
No.
Okay. Cool, very nice. As I said, is there a way to paint substance without going through to the other side? Jose, let me get through this here, and then maybe you can call in and show me what's happening. So Taryn, you've got some stuff rendered now?
Yeah, it's just, it doesn't, like, the materials don't look right. The metal isn't metal. I don't know how to fix that.
There's also no shadow. So
Yeah, I know, I don't know why.
did you turn on shadows on your lights?
Yeah.
In the render settings.
And the viewport renderer?
Yeah.
Since you're using the viewport renderer, do you have, in the effects, you have shadows turned on?
Would that be in render settings?
So yeah, here render settings, viewport, and then in here you want to have the same. Oh yeah, you can just press this button because you have them in your viewport, right? Remember we turned them on there. If you have them on in the viewport, you can just press this button right here, and this should copy whatever you have set in the viewport settings. But yeah, here's where they need to be turned on. Yeah, because you definitely need some shadowing, and let's look at the lights there. The lights should help the metal look more metallic. The only other thing that strikes me here is the bricks are way too big. And so on your brick, you also don't want bricks on the ceiling. Just make the ceiling white or something. The bricks, the tiling setting on the wall, you want to turn that up so that the bricks look more, right, well, we looked it up. A brick was like what, 8 inches?
It's 19 centimeters by 9 centimeters.
That doesn't really help me.
For some reason, it gave me millimeters, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go.
190 millimeters.
Is about 8 inches.
Okay, so yeah, about 8 inches.
Do I change
Yeah.
that?
You have to click on the material tag. So, for instance, if I bring on some brick, here we go. I'll get this brick wall material. I'll put it on a wall. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna put this on here. And wait. Don't crash, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash. Cross your fingers, don't crash. There we go. So now, Taryn, the tiling is not a function of the material, it's a function of the projection. And so I have to click over here on the tag just once. If you double click, it opens up the material. And so you just want to click on it once. And then down here, you have your tiling. And so if you crank that up, you can change the density of the brick.
What should I have it set to?
Well, you just need to look at your relative scale and, like, let's do a little math. Like, how big is a stove? Let's say 32 inches. And a brick is about 7.5 inches. So 32 divided by 7 gives us, that's not right. About 4.5 bricks. And so while you're looking at your image, right, so in here, there should be, you got to increase it so you get about 6 or so bricks over that distance there, right, over the distance of the stove. And you definitely want the ceiling to not be brick. Danielle, Nikki, anything we can look at? Itzel?
Okay, so I updated it, but I still need to add the cylinders to the top of the lights. I still need to make the lights look dirty, and I need to make the table less saturated. But how do the shots look, I guess, now?
You updated it on Vimeo?
Yeah.
Oh, right here. Oh, okay, here it is.
I'll write the ceiling texture.
Euros, European mixer.
It's supposed to be like a god of wind.
Euros?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Since that's how I name my robot, Vulcan, which is like a god of fire. It's like, alright.
Cool. Like this shot strikes me as a little dark.
I like.
Yeah. Or turn up the existing lights.
Okay.
Like in general, it looks like if you were photographing this for real, it'd be like, it looks kind of underexposed.
I mean, I could turn up the exposure on camera, but now I'll just drop the lights.
Yeah, I mean, see which one. Yeah, definitely the ceiling texture. Yeah, I would speed up some of them a little bit because some of them are going so slow. Like, there's not.
Still.
Yeah, it just looks like you rendered a still and then you're just sort of panning it in front of the camera, right? If you look closely, you can see the parallaxing happening. But if you make the camera move a little bit quicker, like then the parallaxing is clear. Like, oh, I'm not looking at just a slideshow. So maybe, you know, some of the super slow ones, just give those a little bit more velocity.
At least now you'll be able to tell them I finally was able to tell someone they've been going too slow.
Yep, you've done it.
It wasn't on purpose, but I was too cautious, I guess. Not too much. You done did it.
I feel like a closer close-up of
With the table?
the table, maybe the silverware.
Yeah, I tried to do a zoom in on the plates, which I think is that fourth shot. 2, 3, 4. But I think it just needs to get closer and go for longer.
Yeah, way closer, yeah.
Let's see. Zoom. Closer, longer. Do you think that I should make some of the silverware, or not the silverware, the glassware dirtier? Or maybe more rough, at least?
Yeah, if you just used one of those grunge textures, but then just, you know, just had a tiny bit of it on there. I mean, yeah, because, I mean, that'll just make it look more realistic. Like, not just, you don't need to make it look like these people don't do their dishes, you know, but, like, it's impossible to get real dishes to look like that, you know. And, yeah, there would just be random dust catching light, you know, and so just having some of that on there would do it.
Do the bricks and tiles look like a better size at least?
I think so. It didn't really stick out. Ooh, you see the tiles?
Briefly.
Yeah, there. Yeah, the bricks look, they didn't strike me as strange.
Okay.
And so you put a pane of glass on here and increase the roughness?
Yeah. I noticed on everybody else's too, the HDRIs just look like way too zoomed in. Like if you're in a toy house.
Yeah.
So I just was like, if you can't see outside.
Yeah, no, this is fine. I would encourage everybody to do the same. Just a pane of glass, having it look frosted would be fine. And how long is this taking to render?
So here it took much longer, for the other third of it. But at home it should have only taken a little over 4 hours. It's just that for some reason when I put it to render overnight, it'll stop rendering after anywhere from, 500 to 100 frames, all of a sudden it'll just like stop. Even though I've told it go from 0 to 1488, and it'll have all of them listed there, but just like it's like if a frame just maybe made it stop. I don't know, or like it was too much in the scene, but I mean, it would work fine once I'd start rendering again. So I don't know why it would do that.
Is your computer set to go to sleep?
No, well, like I mean, like while I'm watching it. So while I'm sitting, like even when I started rendering it again in the morning, it stopped after about 50 frames. It just stopped rendering, even though it wasn't asleep and I was like just on my phone watching it to make sure it wouldn't, and it stopped anyway. And I was like, okay, where are we at? Start rendering again. I think I told Emily about it. She said that it happened to her once as well.
Yeah, it happens.
So you get like 100. If you told it to do 500 frames, you get 500 files.
No, so like if I tell it to render from 0 to 1488,
Mm-hmm.
it'll hit 578 and then just stop. It'll say it's done rendering. It'll fill up the bar all of a sudden. And so then I have to go into it and go into my render settings and say, okay, it says 0 from 14 to 1488, change the 0 to 578 and let it continue. And then it'll start doing it again, and then it'll stop maybe about another 100 frames later at 678, stop. And then now I have to go back into the render settings, change that first one until it's starting again.
I mean, check and make sure this is one, the frame step.
Yeah, that's fine. Like everything, all the render settings was fine. It was just, I don't know what was making it doing. Because it wasn't like consistent. It wasn't like it was stopping every single 50 frames. It was 578, then 50, and then everything else ran fine. So I don't know.
You can set up separate jobs. So if you go to render queue, well, yeah, I mean, if you know that's going to happen, you can say this is going to be from 0 to 20, and then.
Yeah. I was just trying to get it to run while I was sleeping, so that way I wouldn't have to worry about it when I woke up.
Right. So.
But I couldn't leave it unsupervised.
The and then you could say 20 to 500.
Yeah, I could just set them up in the queue.
And then,
leave it all run.
yeah, if it quits there, then it'll start the next job and do the jobs sequentially.
What would happen if it stopped in the middle of a job though? Like say it for some reason decided, okay, well, this one particular frame just isn't agreeing with me, stops rendering there. It'll just continue to the next job at least? And then I just figure out which frames are missing?
I mean, that's what it's done for me in the past. It just keeps going through here. I mean, I'm trying to think why it would. There's no log or something, I don't think.
I could check it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look to see if there's like
I
a.
could test it out though and see if it works fine. If it runs fine, I'll let you know.
I don't know where it would give you a message
Well,
if
'cause
it was.
doesn't give me a message.
Yeah.
It won't say anything. It just like goes down.
And this is on a desktop.
Yeah, it's on a desktop. And it doesn't crash or anything. It just stops rendering.
And Cinema 4D stays open.
Yeah. Everything stays open, everything works fine. It's just suddenly like I'm done.
I'm not sure. Hmm.
And did we crash?
No, I just bumped the thing.
Oh, okay. Gotta put a cushion there or something.
No, Nikki says that's what hers keeps doing.
Okay.
So Nikki, yours only will render so many frames and then stop?
I wonder if it's redshift? Or I guess what kind of
What thing do I use to change the size of the bricks?
The tiling.
Is it tiles U?
The U is horizontal, V is vertical. You'll need to change them both.
Every time I do it. Oh.
Yeah, let's look at Nikki's.
It's very colorful.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? Vaporwave type feel? I think it's
Cool. All right, so you got some more shots to do there. This looks cool. These are like records on the wall. Nikki, there we go. This first shot, maybe a little bit slower, was the only thing that came to mind there. This is a good shot of the oven. I would turn down the bump on the oven. The bump is a little too strong. You can do that just in the redshift material. Like a little bit of this is okay, like a fraction of the amount of bump that you have on. This shot seems like, yeah, maybe it could be a little bit wider so that we see something besides just the cabinets here. I like this. You've got the heart on the cabinets. You gotta like cut out in the wall for the fridge. That's nice. Nikki's got a backsplash. I think this is a good black backsplash use. I think it helps break up the thing visually. Yeah, so if you're just making the shot a little bit slower, you could just slow it down in After Effects. We did that on, was that Monday or was that last Wednesday?
I think
Monday? Yeah, on Monday I did a big thing on retiming in After Effects. It's on Monday's stream. And so if you had to make it like 10 or 20% slower, Jose, you could just retime it in After Effects. If you need to make it like twice as long, you need to go in and render more frames. I like the pattern on the wall here. This is cool. This wave pattern. I like that. That's very cool. Yeah, this shot strikes me as just kind of awkward. Like maybe, yeah, something with some more detail there for that one. And then this, I would, if you want to have something zoomed in showing this detail, I think that's good. But like the sort of zooming it in, like I would just start it sort of zoomed in to show the cool knobs. Like maybe it's just an orbit around the knob. I think that, yeah, that would be better. Like just like if you're watching Kyler's, like he did that orbit around one of the stove knobs, just this part here. So like rendering more shots there. Yeah, the light flicker will go away when we bump up some of the render settings. That's just the rendering technology that we have turned down to get some faster results. So don't worry about that right now. And then did you make your project longer? Right? Your project is going to need to be, I mean, what total number of frames are you guys at? It's like 1,500 frames?
About 1,500.
Your project should end up being about 1,500 frames. You know, if you got 12 shots and 1,500 frames, you shouldn't need to retime a whole bunch. Yeah, Jose says the metal sink. I don't know. That didn't really strike me. I mean, people have these like these granite.
marble basin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those are fancy.
Yeah, it seemed okay to me. Yeah, I mean, this is the only shot I'd be like, yeah, maybe lose this one and replace it with something else. This one of the cabinets just struck me as a little strange. But yeah, I think you just need to stretch out your project a little bit more. Let me do some research here, Nikki, because Belle's having the same thing.
I think the cabinet shot could maybe be replaced by a shelf shot with stuff on it.
Or shot.
Yeah, just something with stuff on it. Like again, you got a close up of the mixer.
There's no tape.
Like we need to see the table and all the stuff on the table.
So,
Yeah, because
for some reason, her refrigerator gave me flashbacks of, you remember that new fridge that was from the times? Oh, why? Somehow my brain's
Familiar.
my brain, like, cabinets and fridge threw it together and it like, hit me. I was like, oh my god, that awful fridge.
okay, Danielle, this is coming along.
But, like,
Just
like
we
this
need some moving cameras. I would make the floor something to contrast with the cabinets, for sure. And the cabinet wood pattern seems too big. Too big.
Yeah, all of those. All of those are just this. Oh my goodness.
I don't know why the shadows aren't working.
I really need to.
Let me see here.
It works in the render view,
Like you're seeing them in.
which is what I'm on right now, is render view. When I go to this, you have to have one of the shadows. Movie and rotate, and double it. You have to move movie and rotate. I think just try having it. So when you find it, I just like that I can double it. Yeah, just have it. Right there. Here's what I want to do.
And just center it to all of them. Alright, go for it. I think the city would be a balance to but I don't have the same. I just want them to be. You want them all to be public at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do that for you. Do you remember when I told you about when you cut it and it's that long line that you cut through so that you know which line you're going and then you go over? Okay, so pronounce out all three lines. And then go into what is this? Orthographic. And then KJ and then just put a line across all three.
That's what I was doing earlier. I was doing
Oh,
PJ.
KJ.
I didn't know it was being weird. So I was like, oh, it was PJ.
I think these are key. There we go. I think the routine side is right. If you make something glass, doesn't mean that the light can get out. Alright, so don't put it in the light. Just do it when it's just below.
Okay. Now let's get that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Bell's run into this, and Nikki's run into it. Anyone else run into this? The Redshift render quick? Everything else going good? All right, hold on. I'll be right back. Yeah, that brick pattern looks way better.
How do I add a environment in the background?
So you need to make a sky. Right, so over here, sky object. And then in your asset browser, if you look for HDR, there's a bunch of materials here, and you can use one of these.
What is it?
Yeah. And under the material tab here, you could put one of these on the sky. And when it loads, there you go. And now the sky will be in the background. You can rotate it, be all around your scene.